students, we have completed with the morphology of root. In this lecture we are going to do the modifications of root. This is an AIMS extra lecture and this syllabus is not included in NEET. Root modifications. So what does it mean, root modifications? Roots, as you know, have their primary function of anchoring the plant and absorption of water and minerals. It will do additional functions also like storage of food and synthesis of plant growth regulators. These are the 4 functions which we had discussed for roots. It's possible that the roots may modify themselves to perform other functions other than these 4 specified, and because of which their structure will become completely different from a normal root. Such kind of roots which modify themselves in their structure and take up additional functions other than anchorage and absorption, such type of roots are called as modified roots, and we are going to look at them in this lecture. First one, modification for storage of food. Now you will say that the roots already store food inside them. So what is the deal with storing food in the roots? So some of the roots can store so much food that they can become completely different from an ordinary root. For example, did you know that a carrot is a root? Okay, does it look like an ordinary root? No. Why? Because it has modified itself to store excess of starch and other pigments, because of which it becomes swollen and colored. So these roots store food and become swollen. Many of the tap roots are also known to store food, and many adventitious roots are also known to store food. In tap roots you have carrot. Do you know what is this? And then you have the third one. Can you identify these roots? Yeah, this is a carrot. How is the shape? This has a conical shape. What about this one? This is a spindle shape. What about this one? Swollen on top, tapers abruptly below. All these 3 are modifications of taproot, and because of the differences in their shape, they are named differently. The conical shaped taproot is called as coniform. The spindle shaped taproot is known as Fusiform, and the ones that are swollen on top and taper abruptly below, these are called as Napiform. For coniform you have the example of carrot. For Fusiform you have example of radish, mooli, and for Napiform you have example of beet, even turnip. You know what is turnip? Shulgum it is called. So these were the tap roots that are modified for storage of food and swollen. Similarly, did you know that a sweet potato is also a root that is swollen because of storage of food? Sweet potato is an adventitious root. One is sweet potato and second one is asparagus. For this I will give you the example of sweet potato. For the second one I will give you example of asparagus, commonly called as Shatavari. So these are also adventitious roots, and these are also adventitious roots modified for storage of food. In both cases you see that they are swollen, but what's the difference? In case of sweet potato, amongst the many adventitious roots that are present at the node, only one of them will be swollen, and in case of asparagus, many roots will be swollen. So these are called as simple tuberous roots, and when they are present in a bundle they are called as fasciculated tuberous. Fasciculated means in bundles, present in bundles, single swollen root. Okay, so that was the first modification of root, that is modification for storage of food. Moving on to the second modification, modification for support, extra support to the plant. Under modification for support we are going to look at 2 examples. So for the first one, let us take example of the banyan tree. So have you seen a banyan tree? In the banyan tree you will find that there are a number of roots like this which are dangling down below from the horizontal branches. These are roots which have arisen from the nodes of the horizontal branches. They will grow continuously downwards towards the soil, and once they reach the ground they will find anchorage there, and they will keep on expanding. They will undergo a lateral or secondary growth, and they will act as pillars to the heavy horizontal branches. These roots are known as prop roots. Now let's look at the second one. For this we are taking example of the sugarcane, also seen in case of maize. In case of sugarcane or maize, what do you see? These are the nodes close to the ground. See what is happening there? Roots arise from these nodes in such a way that they will reach the ground. They will find anchorage there, and they will give support to the plant. Such kind of roots you will also see around the coconut tree, at the base of the coconut tree. See, these are the roots. These roots arise from the lower nodes of the main stem, right? And they have entered into the soil, and once they enter into the soil, they will provide the plant with extra support. Since the sugarcane and maize and all these monocot plants, they're quite thin, okay? They are not very thick. They are thin plants, and as such, they will grow in height, but they will not grow in breadth. It's the quality of monocots. So they need such type of roots to give them extra support at the base. Makes sense? So that the slender stem can stay upright in the air. These type of roots which arise from the lower nodes of the stem, these roots are known as stilt roots. I want you to tell me the differences that you see between the prop roots and the stilt roots. If we have to differentiate between the prop roots and the stilt roots, we can say that the prop roots arise from the nodes of the horizontal branches, whereas the stilt roots arise from the lower nodes of the main stem. Second point of difference, the prop roots enter perpendicularly into the soil, okay? However, the stilt roots enter obliquely into the soil. Don't they enter obliquely? Do they enter perpendicular? No, they enter obliquely. So these are the two major points of difference. Let's write down. Prop roots arise from nodes of horizontal branches, and stilt roots arise from the lower nodes of main stem. Next, enter into the soil perpendicularly, and these enter obliquely into soil. I would like to also add for prop roots, once they enter into soil, act like pillars for the main branches, and they are known to undergo secondary growth. Secondary growth means lateral growth. Lateral growth means lateral growth, okay? Becoming broad is called as secondary growth. Increasing in length is called as primary growth. Increasing in breadth is called as secondary growth. Important for you. Okay, so that was the second modification, that is modification for support. Moving on to the third modification. The third modification is modification for respiration. Now this modification you will find in case of the roots of the mangrove plants. You know what are mangrove plants? Also known as halophytes. Halo means salt, phyte means plant. Okay, these halophytes grow in very waterlogged conditions. Have you seen them growing along the river side, along the banks of the river? The soil is frequently waterlogged. So how will the roots be able to respire under the soil? Normally, the roots depend on air pockets that are there into the soil. They will absorb oxygen from there. In these waterlogged conditions, how will the mangrove roots obtain the oxygen? So what will these roots do is that they will come out of the water. The mangroves will have roots that will grow away from the soil. These are called as negatively geotrophic roots. Normal roots are positively geotrophic roots which go towards the soil, but the mangroves are known to have negatively geotrophic roots which will come out of the water, and they will have special type of openings onto these roots which are called as lenticels or pneumatophores, and they will use these pores for breathing. These specialized roots meant for breathing which are found in the mangroves are known as pneumatophores. It's an important example. So they will have such kind of roots on top, okay, coming out of the water. So these are the pneumatophores. Halophytes or plants growing in saline conditions have negatively geotrophic roots, which are roots which grow away from soil, and they have specialized openings for gas exchange. The specialized openings are called as lenticels or pneumatophores. These specialized negatively geotrophic roots are called as pneumatophores. Negatively geotrophic roots. Example, halophytes like Rhizophora, an important halophyte. Clear? Next we are looking at modification of root for nitrogen fixation. Some roots modify themselves for nitrogen fixation. Do you know? There are some roots which, if you look at them, they will have such type of nodules kind of. Okay, nodulose roots they are called. If you investigate inside these nodules will have specialized bacteria, nitrogen fixing bacteria like rhizobium, which will fix the atmospheric nitrogen inside them into important nitrogen constituents like ammonia. which is very important for the growth of any plant. All the plants depend on nitrogen containing products which they absorb from the soil normally. These plants will have an advantage since they will have these nitrogen fixing bacteria in their roots only. So even if the soil is completely devoid of nitrogen constituents, they will still be able to get their dose of nitrogen because of the presence of these nitrogen fixing bacteria into these root nodules. Only some plants have this advantage. Plants belonging to the family Leguminosae have this advantage. These plants are also known as leguminous plants. Pea, bean, gram, moong. These plants are leguminous plants. These are root nodules. Nodulose roots. Nodulose roots are found in plants belonging to which family? Leguminosae family. Example: pea, bean, gram, moong, etc. Root nodules have nitrogen fixing bacteria. This example is very important for NEET. Root nodules have nitrogen fixing bacteria. What is the name of the bacteria? Rhizobium. Rhizobium leguminosarum is the full name, which fix atmospheric nitrogen to ammonia inside nodules. Clear? What a cool advantage these plants have, isn't it? So as you can see, the plants in which the roots are modified to take up additional functions, these plants will definitely have advantage. So that is all from root modifications.
In the name of Lord Mahadev, please subscribe.